Hello, this is Fabian Diaz Santiago. Thank you for watching my program. So basically I just created like a program which acts like an album finder. In other words, if the user like types in like a certain like artist, the program is going to display all the names of the albums and like the image of the album. First of all, I used a couple of like libraries, external libraries. For example, I installed and used the Bootstrap library. In other words, what this library does is like this library creates like the layout, helps like styling the program in React. Instead of like using like a regular CSS, I just implemented this external library. I also used like the use state and use effect, which helped me with the implementation of like the button, like a search button, and also helped me with the use of like when the user like hits the enter key in the keyboard, it's gonna be like acting as the same as like a clicking on the search button. Well, I also obtained the credentials to use the API. I just signed up using Spotify, and Spotify provided like all the information to run this program. Like I said, I implemented the search button using a use state. In other words, it displays like a button that the user can click on it, and then it's going to display like the output. In this case, it's going to display like the albums. The APA, I just followed all the documentation provided by the Spotify. The documentation provided all this information and also provided like the instructions to write this program. So basically, I'm just using what Spotify says. I also implemented, well, of course, the search functionality. In this case, first I'm just trying to get the artist ID. In other words, this artist ID is going to help the program, or in this case Spotify, to look for a specific artist and display all the information or albums. I'm just getting like the same, following the Spotify's guidelines, all the information, using like the way that Spotify verifies whether one client is legit or not. I also request the ID, like using like the artist ID, to display all the information. And after the program looks for the artist, then if the artist is like available, it's going to be displaying the information, or in other words, it's going to be displaying the album. And finally, just implemented like the layout, like a search button, like whether the user has like the option to like press the enter key, and it's going to be like doing like displaying the information. And I just provided a bunch of like cards using like the Bootstrap library. In other words, like I implemented this to display all the albums provided by Spotify and the API. So I'm just gonna run my program so you can see the functionality. First, I'm using localhost. Here is displaying this like a navigation bar, which I can type in, and then select the search button. So first I'm just gonna display, I don't know, Green Day, my favorite rock band, and it's gonna be displaying all the albums. Similarly, I don't know, I can do something like Dua Lipa, and it's gonna be displaying all the albums. Notice that sometimes it displays like the same album and the same description, but sometimes the albums are like explicit and explicit. So basically that's a problem that this API implements. But yeah, that's my program. Thank you for watching.